So now, so now we have two guests with us who are going to take up the webinar. So one is Jaideep Prasad and the other one is Anubhav. So they both are very good at open source and have cleared GSoC in 19, and Jaideep have even cleared this year. So let's get started, and I hand over the mic to Jaideep and he'll continue, and later Anubhav will continue, and then we'll have a questionnaire round. Sorry, first Anubhav will go and then Jaideep, and then we'll have a questionnaire round. So Jaideep, you can start now.
I guess Anubhav is going to start first of all, so maybe you can give him the mic.
Okay. Hello guys, how are you? Yeah, Prachi, can you share my screen actually?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yes, we can start, guys. Yeah. So first of all, welcome to the webinar. And first of all, I will just tell you about myself, like who am I? My name is Anubhav Sinha, and I was selected for Google Summer of Code in 2019 under the Oppia organization. And I was the team member of the Oppia organization, and right now I am doing my BTech from JP University, and right now I'm in third year, and also I'm currently an instructor in CAMK 12. So after the introduction, let's start with the main thing, we are here. So first of all, the question comes in the mind with the open source is like, what is open source? So in general, you can see open source means the source code of that program is made available to the users, and you can modify to it. It is freely available. You can view the code, like how it is built, and you can modify it and do whatever you want with the code, and even you can contribute in the code. Okay, so this is basically a open source. Like, what is open source? And the next thing comes is what is open source software? Okay, so basically open source software is basically any computer software that's distributed with its source code available for modification. And you can fix bugs into it, you can improve the software, and even you can change the code of the software according to your needs. So this is the meaning of what is open source software. So if I move on to the next part, I will just tell you some examples of what are open source softwares. Like you must have heard about Google Chrome. So actually Google Chrome is not open source. The open source version of Chrome is Google Chromium. And you must have used VS Code. So VS Code is a really good editor, and it is an open source too. VLC Media Player. I hope you all are like aware about the VLC Media Player. It is also open source. Next comes Ubuntu. So actually, it is one of the Linux distribution which is like really used, and recently a new version of Ubuntu is also released, and it's also open source. And next comes the one more browser you must have heard about. Actually, it's really famous. That is Firefox. So like these are the examples of some open source softwares which people use, and these are I have selected some common ones, and there are many. Okay, so if I like go to the next slide. Okay, so now the question arises, like how to start contributing open source. Okay, like how to start contributing into open source, like how you can like send your code and what you can do. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so first of all, like the biggest fear whenever someone starts in the open source contribution, the biggest fear is that like how to start. They ask like are they good enough to code? Like because the open source code, their code base is very big, and how can I understand the whole code base? And some people also ask like they know this much of languages, and can will I be able to contribute? And what are some beginner friendly projects in open source to which I can contribute? And also one of the question is like what are the prerequisites of contributing into open source? So I will be like telling you about all of them in the slides and in this webinar. So let's continue with the prerequisites we have. So the prerequisite is like you have to be familiar with any one of the language. Okay, it can be C, it can be C++, it can be Java, it can be Python, or it can be anything, Ruby, JavaScript, anything. But the thing is that you must know the basics of that language. Okay, like you need to know like in the depth like how that language works. Okay, like you need to know like what are the basics, and you must be able to write the code in that language in a very easy manner. And after that like you must have made some few projects into that language, so that will be really good. So like what happens with making project is that you get a really good idea like how that language is implemented, and how you can make different projects into it. And like 2 to 3 projects will be really fine if you can make 2 to 3 projects in a language that you know. You can then really go. Okay, so the next thing comes is you want to know about what is version control. Okay, so like a very famous version control, that is Git. You need to know about it, like how it works. Okay, so the thing is that like you can easily find tutorials on Git. Like there are many tons of tutorials on the uh, like YouTube or any other site. You can easily go through them, and after that you will be very much familiar with the version control thing. And the next thing comes yeah, so just I told you like you need to learn about Git and GitHub. GitHub means like GitHub is actually a website. Okay, so what you can do, like you can learn about the interface the GitHub has, how you can view different projects, how you can view different contributors, how you can see the issues, how you can see the pull request, how you can see the code base. You want to how you can read the readme.md file in every project. And yeah, you need to like learn about a little bit of GitHub. And if you have done web development or Android development or anything, like if you have even done machine learning, then it's really good. So the thing is that like actually this will really help you to like contribute in a very good manner. So like if you have done web development, then you can choose some organizations into open source which do their coding in web development, that is their domain is web development. You can choose such organizations and you can contribute into them. And similarly like stands for Android development or machine learning or anything. Okay, so like what I have talked about you, I have just talked about you the prerequisites. I hope you are now familiar with the prerequisites. Like first of all, need to know a language. Next thing, what you need to know, like you must have made at least 2 to 3 projects into it. Next thing you need to know about version control. That is, you need to learn about Git. And the next thing is GitHub. So these are the prerequisites that you need to have like before contributing open source. Otherwise, it will be very tough for you to contribute. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So the next slide comes is that like people ask like how to choose a beginner friendly open source project. Okay, so the things that I have mentioned three resources. So first resource is Up for Grabs. So actually, this is a website on which you can find different beginner friendly projects in different languages. And then next is Awesome for Beginners. It is a repository by Mangal, and you can like view different projects into it, and you can even contribute into them. Actually, it is made for beginners only. And the next thing is codetrash.com, in which you can like view also different projects, and you can see what are the number of issues going on in the project, and then you can contribute into it. So like these are the beginner friendly projects. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. It will be really good. So let's move to the next. Yeah, so now comes very two basic things that you need to know. Okay, like suppose you have okay, let's suppose you have done with the prerequisites, and you know about a beginner friendly project. And what you have to do now, you need to know like how you need to create a issue in the project. So basically what issue means, you have to either report a bug or basically a feature request. Okay, means you want to implement a new feature. Okay, or you want to improve a existing feature, or you want to report a bug. So you need to learn about it, how to create an issue. And next thing comes like how to create a pull request. So basically pull request means like when you are done with your changes that you have done locally, so what you do, like you tell the or like code owner of the organization to review your code, and he then reviews the code and see like what changes need to be done. Okay, then he suggests you the changes, and this cycle goes on till the code seems very much fine to the code owner. And once the code seems very much fine, he can then move to like merging your code with his own code base. Okay, so like these are the very two basic things that you need to know. One is creating an issue, and other is creating a pull request. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so the thing is that like this is a very good guide to start contributing. Like Tapeswani Pathak, this is the username on the GitHub, and the repository name is Getting Started with Contributing to Open Source. Actually, yeah, she has done contributed a lot in open source. You can even view her profile. She has made actually a list of open source programs, okay, which are there right now, which are like different open source programs which are there right now. So you can like take a look at them, because there is not only Google Summer of Code open source program, there are many more than that. Okay, so you can look on that. So let's move to the next slide. Okay, so the things come, and now you choose a good project. Okay, now the things come like if you have solved a very good beginner friendly project. Okay, now you have done with a beginner friendly project, you are able to contribute into it, and you, let's suppose you contributed around 100 to 200 lines of code into it, or you resolve 2 to 3 issues into it. Then what you can do, you can now move to basically a good project, means a project which has a large code base. Okay, so what you can do there, like you can first of all, the thing is that like many people ask like which project I should choose. Okay, so the thing comes like you need to choose the project according to your domain, like which domain you like. If you love web development, then you can look for the organization which does the web development. If you love Android development, you can look for that organization. If you love machine learning, you can look for that. So the thing is that like you have to choose the domain in which you are interested. Okay, so that it creates a fun when you contribute into open source, because like you don't need to feel get a little bit bored when you are contributing to open source. That's why you have to choose a domain in which in which you are interested. So the next thing comes is like how to pick issues. Okay, let's suppose you have selected an organization, maybe XYZ. Okay, and the thing comes like you need to start contributing. Okay, so you what you have to do, you have to pick some issues. Okay, so what issues, you need to pick some issues. So there is a issues tab, so you have to go there, and there you can see multiple issues listed over there. Okay, so like when you are a beginner to a good project, what you can do, you can choose the label. So actually the organization admins help people to help the newcomers to choose a very easy issue. So they have made a label of easy, beginner friendly, first comers, or there are many more labels. Okay, so which seems like they are of easy issues, so you can pick one of them, and then you can start solving into it. Like you can try to find out like why this issue is coming up, and what I can do, and what I can add or remove something to make this code like error free or something like that. Okay, so in this way you can pick the issues. Yeah, so the thing comes like, suppose you have picked one issue. Okay, let's suppose you have picked a issue, and now the thing some like how much time a issue takes to resolve. Actually like it depends on the issue label or issue difficulty, like whether it is easy, medium, or difficult. Okay, like let's suppose if you are starting, it may take you up to 15 days to resolve an issue. Okay, I'm just like guessing, and I'm just telling you a big number, so that in the worst case it may take you up to 15 days. But if the issue is very much easy, like suppose it is a type, it is just a typo, it will just take you around uh, just a few minutes to resolve that. So for a typo, and if the issue is in the code, it may take you up to a few days, or maybe you can then submit the code that you have written to improve it. Then the code will be reviewed, so that it will take some time to merge. Also, like if the issue is very like of high level, means it requires some research work, like you have to do some research, like why this error is coming. You have to see across the whole code base, like where I can what can I do to resolve this. Then you have to do some research work, so it may take up to 1 month. But the thing is that like you never you should not give up, you should keep like going on. Okay, yeah, so the next thing comes like how should you ask help from the organization admins. Okay, like if you are new, so the thing is that like feel free to ask your doubts, okay, in the community channel. Okay, like there are like for every good organization there is a community channel, whether it is on an internet relay chat, or it is on Gitter, or it is on Slack or Discord or Telegram. Okay, so feel free to ask to in the community, feel free to ask in community channel. Okay, so that they get a good idea, like so they get idea like you want to contribute, so that they can help, and they will be really happy to help you. Okay, so don't think like that, like how they will judge me, and what they will think about me. Don't think like that. Also, one thing, like you can take advice, like try not to ping someone personally until it is very much important. Okay, because like people they are super busy in the work, so like they kind of hate like personal pinging, so you can avoid these. So you can like message on the community channel, and whoever sees that and knows the solution will obviously reply you. Okay, so let's continue. Yeah, so the thing is that you don't need to get demotivated. Okay, you need to like work hard, because open source journey in starting is, because whenever you start something, the thing that is required is you need to have a motivation to do that, because in the starting you will fail many times, but you have to like do your best to like get above it and do the stuff that you want. Okay, and the next thing comes that consistency is the key to success. Okay, so what it means that like you have to be consistent. Okay, like you don't have to do like that, like one day you code and rest 5 days you are like chilling. So you have to code daily. Okay, maybe you can like do coding on a day very less, like you can even do for 2 hours or 3 hours. That's fine, but try not to skip. Okay, that will be really good. If you will not try to skip, that will be like really good point. Okay, okay, so first of all I will just like first go through the this thing once again. Like first of all, there is a prerequisites that you have to know any language, you have to make one project, And next thing is you need to know about a version control, that is Git, and you need to learn about a little bit of GitHub. Okay, if you have gone through the web development and Android development or any kind of development you do, that's really good. It will be really helpful to you. Okay, next thing comes, you choose a beginner friendly project first of all. Okay, you can choose a beginner friendly project, then you can contribute into it. Okay, and after that, when you are done, like you can choose some beginner friendly projects in this website. Actually, I've just selected top three websites. You can go to any more repository also if you see the beginner friendly project. Okay, so the next thing comes, like you need to know about these two basic things. One is creating a issue and other is creating a pull request. And the next thing comes, like you have to like, oh yeah, this is a basically a guide which you can help you to contribute into open source. You can like take the screenshot of that, and after that you can continue. And now the thing is that like you can choose a good project once you are done with the beginner friendly project. You can choose a good project. So like there are many organizations I can tell you, like which have a very good open source culture, like in which I contributed was Oppia. That's also really good. Like we'll just tell you like FOSS Asia, Public Labs, and Koala, and many more are there. Okay, many more. So you can like even look into them. Okay, now comes how to pick issues. So you have to select in the starting a very beginner friendly issue so that you can resolve them. Okay. Next, like how much time a issue takes to resolve. So it may take you up to really long. Okay, for in the starting, it may take, but you don't have to get demotivated. That's what I want to say. Okay, so you need to like take your time to resolve it. Okay, so next thing comes like asking for help from the organization admin. So that I told you before, like you don't need to ping them personally. Try to communicate in the community channel. Okay, try to get connected to it, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, that don't get motivated, don't get demotivated, and the consistency is the key to success. Okay, so now what I will tell you, like I will tell you like about my journey, like how I did. So actually, the thing that I have written is according to my journey only, but I'll just tell you like in brief what I did. So basically, like after the second year, okay, so basically after the first year, I was aware about a little bit of Python. Okay, and in the second year from the starting, I did a hands-on on web development. I learned PHP, I learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, very basic. Okay, and I made a website of library management then. Okay, so that I get a good idea like how the website is built. Okay, I used jQuery, I used HX request, and many things. So to do that, and once I was very aware of the web development, I tried to. I was like interested into web development. Then I looked for an organization in open source which had their domain in web development. So I found Oppia there. Okay, which was a project of Google. Okay, it is actually a project of Google. It is managed by the Google engineers. Okay, so and I started contributing in November 2018. Okay, I picked up my first issue. Okay, I picked up my first issue there, and for me it took me around 7 to 8 days to resolve a beginner friendly issue. Okay, but I did it. So the thing was that like by the end of December, I was able to resolve around 3 to 4 issues. Okay, then when I was able to solve around 3 to 4 issues, after that I was very much like interested in contributing more because I was getting the things now more fast. Okay, so then I in January I contributed the best, and February. So after that they offered me the team member of Oppia. So I became the team member in February 2019, and like it is really like a very happy moment for a contributor. Like if you are offered as a team member in some organization. So after that, yeah. So like what I did in the Oppia team. Okay, so like what was my involvement? So like I was a part of various teams in Oppia. Like one was the bug fixing team. So actually, what the bug fixing team does, it fix the bugs. Okay, what bugs are coming, and there is a contributors onboarding team. Okay, so actually this is quite very interesting. So in this team, what you have to do, you have to mentor everyone who is coming to contribute. Okay, so basically thing is that I was mentor of many students, sorry, I was mentor of many new contributors who were coming to contribute into Oppia, and I helped them to easily solve two issues in starting, so that they get a good pace, and after that they can continue on their own. Next comes I was a part of dev workflow team, and I was also a release coordinator for a version. And next, then in the March, I started writing my proposal to apply for Google Summer of Code under the OPA organization. So I wrote the proposal, and the result came around in May. So I was selected for Google Summer of Code 2019, and I successfully completed all the three milestones of Google Summer of Code. So basically, Google Summer of Code is like a program in open source. It is actually a very famous, one of the most famous program in open source. Okay, so and I must tell you, it is really worth. If you are selected for Google Summer of Code, you can learn so much of things, so much. Okay, so I was able to complete all the three milestones. I was able to complete the work, and I got the certificate and stipend too. After that, now the things come, why you need to contribute in open source, what are the benefits. Okay, now the thing comes. So that's really important, because when you do something, you need to know its benefits. Okay, you need to know what are the benefits I would be getting, that why I'm doing this. So first benefit is that your coding skills improve. Yeah, your coding skills will improve at a very good level, I must say, because what you will be doing, that you will be writing a code on an industrial level, which is actually being implemented. Okay, you have to write a code error free. You have to properly ident your code. You have to use proper variable names so that everyone can read your code. Okay, so that's really important. And it actually improves your coding skills. And the next thing is that you get to know the insight of actually how the code is written at an industrial level. So you need to so you get to know how the code is actually how the code is written actually in some industries. Okay, next come that your network increases, means you are connected to different peoples throughout different places. Maybe it can be people from different continent, some different country, or some different state, city. Okay, so the thing is that you make a good network, and even these network really help. Okay, I had some seniors who were having a very good network in different organizations, and one of them was hired through their network only. So yeah, the network really helps. I must say networking is very much important. And the next thing comes, you learn the process of software engineering. Okay, so the thing comes, in the actual software industry, what happens is that you have to first of all design the documentation. Okay, you have to make a design doc of your project, how you proceed the project. Okay, then you discuss on the project, how the design documentation is built. Then you make your code, and then you write test on it. Then you test the code, then you find bugs, then you again fix those bugs, then you test that. So actually the thing is that you get to know about actual software industrial cycle, how the code writing process works. So it is really a very good experience. And the next thing comes, you create a code which benefits the community. Yeah, that is the main motto of the open source. That is, you are writing a code which is being used by everyone. Let's suppose you are contributing to VLC media player. Okay, so you can see that VLC media player is used by many of us. Many of us use VLC media player in our computer. So the thing is that if you contribute into it, you will see, you can see that the code, you have contributed to a community, and the software is being used by maximum of us. So it's really good. So it feels like you are doing something. So that's a really good benefit of open source. And I must say that, and there are many more benefits, many more. So actually I've just discussed some benefits which are very important you can think of. Yeah, so thank you very much. So you can connect me on the LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn profile, and you can even ask me for any help you want. And like I have mentioned the link, I've just shortened the link of my LinkedIn. You can connect with me. And yeah, thank you very much. And after now, I guess Jaideep will continue, and after that, we will be having a Q&A session. You can ask your questions in the comment section so that we can take your questions after Jaideep finishes his talk. Okay, thank you very much.
Cool. Prachi, can you share my screen? Open source contributions, right? So like you already heard there are so many organizations and there are so many projects. So but there should be some starting point and like how you should actually approach the stuff there, right? So cool. So a little bit about myself before beginning and diving into the session. So currently I'm a GSoC developer at Aussie. I have also done my GSoC 19 with FOSS Asia as well, and also I have been a contributor at organizations like Flutter, Dart, and OpenMeFOSS. So always you can follow my work at GitHub, like you can see here. It's at the rate JDDeep. Like you can even search it up on Google. You the first link you will get should be my GitHub profile, right? So you can check out my work there as well, right? Cool. So now starting off with our open source work, like w- like how even go about making contributions to other organizations projects which Anubhav talked about, right? So so i- so what actually Anubhav also talked about is a VCS, like, right? Like he talked about Git, right? So Git is something which is a version control system, and even you can use it offline as well, like locally, and maintain a whole history of your project locally stored on your computer, right? So but that doesn't reflects anywhere online, right? Like suppose you have made a project, you have initiated Git versioning in it, and then you have made different commits, you have made various changes to the project, but that isn't showcaseable anywhere online, right? So that's where GitHub comes into play, right? So what you do is you basically create a project offline, like on your local machine, and after you initiate Git inside that project folder, you can just add a remote for your GitHub project link, and then it once you push the code, it shall be available online. Like people, like you must have seen people's projects on GitHub, like they have their whole structure, like there are different directories of their project, there are different files of a particular project, right? So all those files and folders were actually created offline, but now since the person has initiated Git in his or her local project directory and have pushed it over GitHub, so now it's available for other contributors to see, and maybe if they are interested, they can start contributing to that project, right? Or even see. So now once a project is open source, it's not always also about contributing. First of all, uh, open source came into existence, like because wants that other developers could actually see and understand the code of all these available famous softwares, and actually learn something, right? So like even if you are a coder or a software developer and you are able to read and understand some code, it gives you an idea about how a software is structured, right? So basically that was the very reason behind the existence of GitHub, like to open source a particular software for other developers to see and learn from that software actually, yeah, right? So e- even after that actually came the benefit of contributing, right? So once developers saw that this is a very cool project, and uh, and he or she found some error or some bug, they thought, why don't we make some contributions to it and fix that bug of this open source software, right? So that's where the idea of contributions came into play, right? That was the main reason behind open source contributions, and what you see today is basically uh, a build up of that, right? So here is a cool link, like here is this is a guide which I found out, like this is an official guide from GitHub, like it demonstrate uh, like the actual flow, like how you work on GitHub, like what you actually do to make open source contribution which is visible for everybody to see, and it showcases as a actual contribution upon your profile, right? So once so the very starting point of a contribution you're trying to make is by first creating a branch. So right, so suppose there is a open source project, right? So it's maybe under some organization. So now what you want, first of all, you want to do is like you create a fork of it. So there is a option, like let me show you quickly like how that option shows up on your screen. Like this is a particular project, this was my GSoC project in 2019, which I worked under FOSS Asia, right? As you can see here, there is this fork button. So once you press the fork button, it makes a clone of this particular project under your own profile, right? So that you get a copy of this particular project under your own profile name, right? That cloned project is is editable, and you can make any number of changes there, right? Because it's under your own profile, right? So like as you can see here, if you go to this particular project under this FOSS Asia organization, you won't be edit any file or make changes to any file directly here, right? So what you can simply do is make a fork of it under your own profile, and then you can make any number of changes inside that particular project, right? So that's the very first step in terms of open source contribution, right? So like if you want to contribute to some organization's project and you want to get started, so the very first step will be forking the particular project under your profile, right? So once you do the forking, so now what I would recommend, like even GitHub, like Git recommends that you create a different branch, right? By default the project you clone will be definitely on some master branch, or either on development branch, right? So but if you want to make some changes and in future maybe create a pull request to the actual organization's project, right? So what you should do is like create a different branch in that particular of your clone project, right? So like whatever the fork is, you should go there, and you can just simply create a new branch from here, right? And then whatever changes you want to make, you can make it from there, right? So once you make the changes after creating the branch, right? So what's next? Like you have made you've forked the project, you have created a new branch, and now what next, right? So after that comes adding commits. So what commits are actually? So commits are nothing but the actual changes which you make in certain files of that project, right? So maybe you want to edit some readme file, or maybe you want to edit some actual code file where you have found out some bug which was prevalent in the actual software, and you spotted that, and you're trying to fix it, right? So what you do is actually, make changes in the particular code file, so where you feel those changes should be made, and you commit them, right? So once you commit them, those changes actually show up as different commits on that particular branch, which you will be able to see once you do that. And those commits are nothing but the changes you have made, right? So you can make n number of changes, so that will be n number of commits, right? So but it's always recommendable to squash your commits into one. So suppose there is a big issue which you are trying to solve, and it requires a lot of changes, so you are committing each file, like you're making changes slowly by committing code into each file. So after you make the successive number of commits, right, so you should squash your commit, and so that it shows up as a single commit while you make a pull request to the organization, right? So whatever the terms I am saying, like even if you are thinking like what the hell squash is, like Git has numerous amount of tutorials and guides up on the internet, right? So they are just a simple Google search away from you. So you can just simply type in like how to squash commits, and you should see some commands or some guides pop up at your screen, right? So that's what adding commits is all about, right? So commits are nothing but the changes you make in different files and saving them, right? So after you have committed, like it's saying that you should open a pull request, right? So suppose there was some issue in the issues section, even if you have found a bug, you should first of all open an issue about it, right? So as you can see here in this particular project under Fausacia, there are these numerous number of issues, like which contributors have opened up recently. So as you can see, people open issue, and they just simply type in what the issue is there inside the particular project, and comment that he or she wants to work on that issue, right? So if the maintainer approve see the issue and approve that issue, he or she can go about working on it and making a pull request in future, right? So after that, you have commented on some open issue, or even you have created the issue, like opened up a new issue yourself on the organization's issues section. So after you have done that, and the maintainer or owner has approved that issue, that it's a valid issue, and you can go ahead working on it. So after that, you can just simply make changes, make commits in your own branch to fix that issue, and after that you should be able to make a pull request, right? So that's what this step is, right? So if you have made commits, you have solved a particular issue, you have solved a particular bug, or even added a new feature, you have committed all the changes on your local branch, right, on your own fork. So after you have done that, you should be able to create a pull request, a new pull request on the organization's project, right? So creating a pull request is pretty simple. Like let me just quickly show you. Like there is the new pull request button already available on the GitHub website. Like if you go to the pull request section of under some organization's project, there is this new pull request button. So once you click on that, and if you have made some changes at in your own under your own fork at in your own branch. So what you can simply do here is, like you can see here is this compare across forks option. So it once you click on that, like this four buttons open up. So what these actually are, like suppose you can understand it from here, like the changes where which you want to push, like the source, like you have made some changes on your own fork, and now you want to push those changes into the organization's project, right? So that will be the base repository, right? So where you want to push those changes, so that will be that particular repository will come here. So as you can see, I want to push changes in the Fausacia Neuralab Android repository, and the branch will be development, because all the you know releasable code is under the development branch for Fausacia. So and from here I can simply select my own fork. Like suppose, like as you can see, this particular project is named under my own GitHub user handle. So once I click that, it will automatically detect my own fork, right? And from here I can even change the branch where, or like where I have worked and have made some changes. And after I select the proper branch, I can simply click on the create pull request button, and it should show up as a pull request inside the pull request tab, right? So that's pretty much it, right? Like this is simple, this is the simple process of creating a pull request under any organization's project. Like if you have solved a issue, you can just like uh, comment on that issue, and then again go up to the uh, go up to your own branch or under your own fork, make changes, make commits, and then create a pull request from there, right? So that's basically about creating a pull request, right? So after you have created the pull request, now comes a very interesting part, is that discuss and review your code. So now after you have made the pull request, all your code is available to see by the by the maintainers of the particular repository where you are trying to push the, like, get the code merged, like you have made the pull request to. So what it will be doing is that the maintainers and reviewers will get to your pull request. They will see whatever changes you have made, and start reviewing the code. If they think that some particular lines, maybe there can be reformatting changes, or maybe there are some issues with your code, like maybe you haven't understood the bug quite well, or some some more formatting issues, like it doesn't really actually solves the bug. Or if they feel that the code is not up to the mark, they will start commenting upon your pull request. It will show up as particular comments on your pull request, where even you can see those comments and reply to the maintainers, that giving your own reason, like what you actually tried to do there, right? Once the whole review is done, like the maintainers will generally ask you to make the change. So after they usually comment on your code, they usually place it in the form of a review. So after you read the review and understand that, okay, I need to make a particular change in this particular line of code, so you go to your own branch, make that change, and again push it. So after you push it, it shows up in your pull request, right? So once that change shows up, like the maintainers will see, if it's up to the mark, they will give you a pat and approve that particular pull request, right? And say that the pull request, the code looks good. So and they can proceed from there, right? So now that all the discussion and reviews are done, so what next, right? So the next step is like the deploy step. So this is something which you don't need to worry about much, because the deploy step is like this is actually upon the maintainers part. Like if they have set up a particular tests for on their repository, like for different pull requests, as you will see here, like most good projects have this all this tests set up. Like these are automatic tests which GitHub detects and starts based upon the code of the branch you're trying to push in, right? So it actually tests your branch with respect to the current development branch where you're trying to push. So if it actually sees that it is breaking something, or the build is not getting completed of that particular software, so what it actually does, so the builds will particularly show up this cross symbol, and it will be easily understandable that something has been broken by your code, so it can't be merged directly, right? So what you can do here is, like, even the maintainers will say it, and you will ask you to fix the builds, right? So what you can simply do here is you can go to the details section, and in the details section there will be the logs which you can see and try to understand what actually is breaking from your particular code you are trying to push, right? So once you are able to fix that, right, so all the tests should pass after that, right? So like as you can see here, this particular pull request has passed all the tests, right? Like as you can see here, all checks have passed. So that means that this particular branch from where this particular contributor is trying to push the code in is good to go and can be proceeded further with, right? So once the deploy step is over, so next comes the merge step, right? So this is also something which is up to the reviewers, like the maintainers. So once they see that the particular branch is good to go and has passed all the tests, and the entire code of that pull request is approved after reviewing, so what they can simply do is merge that particular pull request into their own repository, right? So the changes you have made actually shows up on the like the original project, right? So that's pretty cool, right? So it also gives some satisfaction to you as a contributor, that you had actually spotted a bug, or there was some bug in a actual big project, and you have solved it, and the that your particular changes actually show up on the actual project's repository, right? So even you can it gives immense satisfaction that you were able to make a project better by contributing to it, right? So so that was pretty much the entire flow, which I thought it would be pretty cool to share with you, all of you guys. So even you can, if you want to learn in more details, you can just simply go on to this particular link, like they have all these details up here with some helpful links as well, so you can take help from here as well, right? So you can even take a screenshot of your screen if you want, to go to this particular link, and you can learn from there as well, right? So 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 that was about all about the GitHub flow, right? So that's pretty much like what I wanted to share with you guys today. Like, I wanted to understand how you actually go about working and making open source contributions, right? Because a lot of new contributors I come across, they keep on asking me like, can you please give a brief idea about how we actually get on started. Like, most of the people do not have the actual idea clear, that they need to first fork a particular project, and then make a different branch, and then start making commits, then a pull request, so that particular logical flow is not clear to them. So I thought, why not share it with all of you, and maybe you can get a better idea for your own journey, right? So so now that's over. So a bit about my journey. So since I have cracked GSoC twice at this stage, so so what was actually pushed me to start about thinking about open source. So currently I'm in second year, so doing my BTech in IT, right? So what actually someone in my very first year actually said, that open source mein lago, right? So as you can see here, I actually mentioned, quoted that line here. So once I heard this particular term open source, so what I started was very much like the thing which hasn't ended till today as well, is the never ending research, right? So this is something I also motivate all of you guys to do. Like, you shouldn't give up on your something which you have found out interesting, and you want to learn about it. So you should always keep on researching about it, and it's always given that at some point of time you will absolutely get a solution, you will absolutely get an answer to the thing you are trying to find out, right? So after I heard the particular term open source, I kept on researching about it until I gathered a good knowledge about gathered a good basic knowledge about open source, what GitHub is, how to make contributions, and what else can be done on various open source platforms, right? So once I got to know that, like, I started, first of all, I in my first year, like, in 2019, when I cracked GSoC with Fossacia. So at that point of time, I started quite early. Like, I was contributing to the project from November. Like, the applications open, I think, if I can remember, in March or April, I guess. I don't actually remember quite well. So once the application open, like, it's always recommended to start quite early before the application. So I followed that, and I started contributing to the project of Fossacia in the month of November and December. And so since then I had been contributing, and I started developing good relations with the maintainers and reviewers as well. So what do I mean by good relations is that you always try to maintain a healthy relationship with the actual mentors and the reviewers, or the owners of the repository. So how can you achieve that actually is by conversating them with on the the Gitter channels or on the mailing list about the actual work which you are doing daily, right? So suppose you're fixing some bug, you should always talk about what actual work are you doing, and like what are the things you're trying to follow to solve that particular issue, right? So so even the reviewers and maintainers, after seeing that particular conversation of yours, they also start to thinking that yes, actually this person is actually interested and doing some good amount of work at our project, right? So that also benefits you as well as the organization whose project you are working on, right? So that's a win-win situation, right? So that was about my journey, like after, since then I haven't stopped contributing to open source projects and uh, different organizations, right? So even if you can go to my profile, you'll be able to see my, like, I have contributed to numerous number of organizations, including the official the Flutter SDK by Google. Like, I've worked with the Flutter team at Google on their open source project, right? So this is something quite interesting. Like, even sitting at your home, you can actually work on such cool projects which are such interesting stuff, and you can actually get your code merged in the actual product, right? So that's a quite a good feeling, like if you can get your work merged into some actual product which is released and is getting used by the entire world. So that gives another level of satisfaction, right? So so that's what open source contributions are all about, right? So you should always try to as you might have learned that you should find out projects under your area of expertise first of all, and for it's always recommendable to first find some beginner level projects, so that you can get a good taste of how to start contributing, making pull request, getting your code merged in that project. So once you get a taste of that, you can actually start working at some bigger level projects with some bigger level organizations, right? So that's something which was about my journey, like whatever things I have done, right? So yeah, so even Bill Gates has told that that this is a quite great phenomena around open source, right? So this area shall be thriving in future as well, right? So even if you get started today, open source has been ever rising there. Even some cooler projects, some cooler products are getting open source today, and you can always look up on the internet about their code on GitHub, and start contributing to those projects, right? So yeah, so cool. So that will be all about from my side. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So my LinkedIn, you can just simply search up Jaideep Prasad on LinkedIn. You should be able to find me out. You can connect with me there. Also, here is my email and my Twitter handle. If you guys want to connect with me there as well, you can do that. Cool. So that was all about of all from my side. Now we shall be taking up questions if you guys have any. So feel free to post your questions on the comment section.
Hello guys. So thank you so much Anubhav and Jaideep. They have shared an amazing experience, and from their experience I can definitely say that it's not early for first year, for second year, anyone to start now, because Jaideep have started, I guess, in first year, and Anubhav has started in second year. So start right now so that you can know how actually the company works. And nowadays, lots of companies are moving to open source so that they can get contributors for free, and their product can be improved. So now we are moving towards the question and answer round. So Anubhav and Jaideep will be taking the questions. So please post your questions for clearing all the doubts and to have a good head start. Thank you so much. Now, Anubhav and Jaideep, you can continue with the question round.
Yeah, so Ruchi, your question like how to start finding bugs in a project, like in any project, you should be able to see like there is this issues tab under any project, which I already talked about like a few minutes ago. So inside the issues tab, you'll see a bunch of open issues already. So you can take a look at that and try to understand what the actual issue or the actual bug is, and then start conversating with the maintainer or reviewer, like what they actually want in solving that issue. So after you get a clear idea about that, you can go about making a pull request. And also if you actually experience some new issue which is not already opened up on the inside the issues tab of that project, you can always open a new issue. There is a button, a new issue, inside the issues tab. So once you click that, you should be able to may open up a new issue under that project, and you know then go about, after you get the approval of the maintainer, you can go about making a pull request further, right?
Yeah, I just want to like answer the Ruchi question again. I guess Jaideep has answered it very much correctly. So like how to find bugs. So basically, in the starting, it will be really difficult for you to find the bugs. Okay. So what you can do in the starting, you can just pick out the bugs which are already found, and you can try to resolve them. Because if you are new to a code base, then finding bugs into it is really much difficult, because you need to be aware about the code base. Okay. And I guess one more question by Arushi Jain is there, like she's asking if you have any of the open source software which would do both modeling and simulation of the efficiency of stabilized soil and the both dynamic and stuff. Okay, sorry, Arushi. I guess I don't know any. I'm not aware about this any software which can do this. Sorry for that.
Yeah, Arushi, the question you're asking is very specific. Like you can always, even if we don't know about a project which actually revolves around that, you can always search up about any open source project with the keywords you are trying to find out about, right? So you can always do a Google search, like it's just a search away from you, right? So if there are available projects you are interested in, you shall be able to get that, right?
Okay, I guess one more question is there by Omkar Pawar. He's asking like, is there any way we can find specific issues pertaining to a specific technology? Okay, like I know web development only. Okay, is there any way? Okay, I guess like Omkar, if you know about the web development, then what you can do about is that like even like let's suppose for example, if I know Django, okay, in web development, what I can do like as Django is open source, I can go to its repository, okay, and If I like see any issue there, I can report them or I can try to solve them. If you are not going to the framework, what you can do, like if you know web development, you can select a organization there and then try to uh, resolve the issue. Okay, guys, any more questions coming up? Feel free to ask. Okay, I guess Prince has asked something like how to start with ML related projects in open source. Okay, which are beginner friendly organizations. Okay, Prince, I'm actually for the ML thing, I can say finding beginner friendly organizations is really difficult for ML because they use a lot of really ML technologies, like they use really good algorithms. So, what you can do uh, to go for ML is that first of all, you can try to create some good concepts of the machine learning. Try to get the essence of machine learning, what machine learning is. And then what you can do, like I know one of the organization in which my friend just applied for Google Summer of Code. uh, he applied in Red Hen Labs. Yeah, there is an organization called Red Hen Labs, and they actually actually on machine learning and AI and deep learning thing. So you can look up into you can look up into it. And I guess there are also many more organizations like of machine learning. Maybe some. Okay. I guess I'm forgetting the name, but okay, just I will tell you in a while. Yeah, while then you can look up into the Red Hen Lab thing. So that's also a good organization for the machine learning and deep learning thing.
Right. So also adding up to Anubhav's answer, that which Prince had asked the question, that some beginner friendly organizations, right? So there aren't actually any such beginner friendly organizations, right? So always there are, the level of projects differ under different organizations, right? So maybe some projects are quite at the initial stage, which needs some starting up work, right? Or some projects are already in the production level, and just need some brushing up, or some fixing some bugs, right? So it's all up to you, how you can actually find up projects. And all you have to do is just look up the code base of different projects, right? So if you have some basic knowledge, or some good grasp of the domain you are working with, or searching projects about, like suppose you're saying you're searching for ML related projects, right? So all you can do, search up the navigate to the code base of different projects with the language tag. Like suppose you're searching for Python projects, there in the GitHub section of different organizations, like you can always choose from different languages. Like suppose under a particular organization you're searching for Python project, so you can always select the Python language, and different projects with Python will show up on your screen, right? So so what you have to do is navigate in the particular repository, see the code base, and see if that particular project suits you, and you can work in that particular project, right? So that's all upon you. Like there aren't any actual beginner friendly organizations. The level of projects differ in different organizations, right? So, and if you're trying to get a name of different organization, like some machine learning organizations, like from the past 2 years, TensorFlow itself has been participating, and has been accepting a lot of students these days into GSoC. So You can always take a look at the open source projects under TensorFlow. They have their own GitHub organizations. You can look upon that and get started with it, right?
Yeah, I guess one more question is there by Sumitra Thawani. And the question is like, can you give some examples of actual issues you have worked on that deal with free and open source software? Okay, so like I can give you some examples like what I did in the starting when I was just beginning my open source journey. Like actually the Peswini Pathak had a repository for actually she had made a Python project for like weather telling app. It was basically you have to tell the weather of a particular place. So actually the code was there of Python 2. Okay, and I like make it supported for the Python 3 also. So like this was one of the thing which I did in starting. Okay, and when I was like contributing for Oppia, so then I like solved like a lot of issues. Like few of them was like okay, so like I will just tell you some beginner friendly ones so that you are easy to understand. So like a few of them was like I had to just change the CSS class, or I have to just change the like CSS values, property values, so that the UI looks good. Or in the backend, I have to like write some test for some functions, or I have to like create a linter file so that the your code get lints. Yeah, so like these are the very beginner friendly issues like I have worked upon. So I guess Jaideep can also tell you some few.
Yeah, so talking about beginner friendly issues, like you're saying that, can you give me some examples of actual issues you've worked on that deal with free and open source software, right? So, yeah, so if you're trying to find out issues, like there will always be numerous issues under a active project, and you can easily uh, differentiate between what a beginner level you mean by and what a advanced issue is. Like suppose in the issues section, you see a particular issue which tells that there is some typo in a particular code file. Like suppose in a particular text there is some typo and there is an open issue about it, so that can be termed as a beginner level issue. Like it will teach you about how to make actual pull request by making a change in a particular file, right? So always, active projects have a different variety of issues. Like they have beginner friendly issues as well as issues which require some knowledge of the code base of that particular project. So you can always differentiate that by reading the title of the issue in the under the issues tab of a particular project in open source, right? So once you can differentiate it, like suppose you are able to like you're thinking that you are able to solve that particular issue, you're able to solve that particular bug because it's in your area of expertise. You are always free to comment on that particular issue, and if the maintainer tells you that you can go ahead working on it, you can always work on it and make a pull request for it, right?
Also Prince, I just like googled up for an organization. Like there's an organization called Open Mind, so you can look up into it. Actually it also deals with machine learning and NLP stuff, so you can check up into it. And the next question that I can see is that Ruchi has asked one more question. Like, can you share some tips for the people aspiring for get selected for GSoC? Okay. So, like the tips, I can suggest you that like you should start as early as possible. Okay. Like I should say, like to maximize your chances for getting selected, you can start your contribution from October or November. But yeah, just try to start from that month, and like try to get in touch with the like organization admins, their mentors, and like as Jaideep said that you need to have a healthy relationship with them. So try to have a good relationship with them so that they understand that you are working for their project and you are interested in contributing. And the next step comes like when this thing has happened, like if you have solved a good amount of issues, then I guess it creates basically so the code owner gets a really good impression of you that you are contributing in this organization since really long time. And the next thing is that like you need to build a very good proposal. That's really important. So the most important thing is that you need to build a very good proposal, because your proposal is that thing on the basis of which you are reviewed. So like all the mentors go through a proposal, and the proposal which they seems is the best, they select those. So your proposal should be very much like precise. It should be like crisp, and that when you write the proposal, you need to get you need to get basically the review from the mentor, and that's very much important. So yeah, that's the thing. So any like tips from Jaydeep? He can also suggest you some tips.
Yeah, so as Anubhav said, it's always advisable to start working early. Like you don't have to be in a haste. Like suppose you application deadline is on some XYZ date, and you just start finding issues. Finding I've seen many students just starting a month or some few weeks until the application's deadline is, and they try to do it in haste, and end up messing it all up, right? So it's always advisable to start early. Like you find issues, you find projects suitable to your area of expertise, you start working on the issues, you start creating pull requests, and then talk with the actual mentors and owners of the particular project of the organization on their mailing list or on their different social channels. So once you do that, you start creating a healthy relationship with the maintainers as well, so they actually understand that you are working on their project and are trying to improve that particular project, right? So that actually helps up when you submit a proposal, right? So once they review your proposal, they see your name and they see your contributions on their project, it makes a good impression on them, right? So like your chances of getting selected when compared to other applicants is increased, right? So that's what I will suggest you, right? So always start early, find issues, start contributing, make a healthy relationship with the owners and the reviewers and the mentors at the organization, and that will definitely give you a good impression, right? So also Purva Verma has asked, like just like GitHub, is there any more platform where we can get open source projects? So yes, Purva, like even this year I am working with Aussie at GSoC. So like they actually use GitLab, right? So there is another hosting website for these repositories which is called as GitLab. So you can even search GitLab as well on the web. You should be able to see numerous amount of projects on there as well, right? So you can also take a look at those. So GitLab is also there, and I think Bitbucket is also there. So yeah, so along with GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, these are some other platforms which you should know of.
Okay, I guess okay, Anjali has asked one more question. Like, what are some open source softwares for qualitative data analysis? Okay, Anjali, like I don't know about this thing, so I can't answer this. So maybe you can like Google up this and try to find out the solution. So I don't know about any open source software which can be used to do this. You can Google up this and try to find a solution. And I just watch one more question above. Prachi has asked like any good course or videos we can follow to learn Git. Okay, so to learn basically Git, what you can do, you can go to YouTube, and I will just tell you like what course I watched. You can watch any of them. Like I watched the course in the starting. There's a channel of a channel called Traversy Media. So he has made a GitHub crash course, Git and GitHub crash course for beginners. You can watch that. And if you are like into Hindi stuff, then you can go with Code with Harry. So that's also good. You can go with Code with Harry, and you will be able to understand the Git thing. Also, like there's a channel called Apni Kaksha by Aman Dattarwal, so you can look up into that also. So there's also Git and GitHub crash course kind of stuff there. So you can look into that. Actually, there are a lot of resources. Just do that. Stick to one resource. Like don't bounce on different ones. Just stick to one resource and complete that thing whole. So that will be sufficient. So I just suggested you like two or three. One is Traversy Media channel, one is Code with Harry if you want to like go with Hindi, and one is like Apni Kaksha.
Thank you so much, both of you. So I think the questions are over now, and let me tell you, both of you guys, that we have received the responses, and it's very much positive. Like most of them have told that it's a very good session. And a final announcement I have to make is we have given a certificate link in the comment section. So the link is valid only for 30 minutes after from now. So kindly fill the link, otherwise you would not get any certificate of attending the webinar. And thank you so much, guys. Anything if you want to share with the
Yeah, I just want to share like you can now start doing the work. Don't just actually, I know that we are in a lockdown situation and it's a little bit difficult for us to go out and stuff, but the thing is that this is the time when you can start. This is the most like exact time or most like precise time when you can start. And I must say that you should start now. From now, after the session, you can even start. Just go and like do the work.
Right. So adding on to Anubhav is that you like this in this kind of situation, you have got ample amount of time right now sitting at your home. So what you can actually do is try to learn some actual basics of Git and using GitHub, right? So because a lot of students actually face quite some difficulties, when they actually start working before the application deadline, and they aren't able to actually make a pull request even, right? So it's always advisable to start early. Like this is a right time to get yourself a good idea about Git and GitHub, how to work with them, right? So once you do that, you can always make your own projects, upload and push them to GitHub, so that you can get a taste of how uh, things are working on over GitHub, right? So once you are able to do that, and you have got some good grasp of that, so you should be good to go while contributing to other projects in different organizations as well, right? So yeah, so I would recommend to start early and start searching up for issues in different projects after you have got a good knowledge on Git and GitHub. So after you do that, you can start making pull requests, start contributing, start talking with the project reviewers and maintainers. And once you do that, your chances of getting selected into GSoC or any other such open source competition, you might say, will increase, right? So yeah, so all the best to all of you guys. Hope you got some good knowledge from today's session, today's webinar. So yeah, best of luck to all of you.
thank you so much everyone for joining, and now you can exit. Thank you so much.